Hello, Internet. My name is Matt Donner. I am here at Pyramind, and it has been a while since I have seen you. I apologize. I have been busy in a way, but very happy to be here in our new old home at Pyramind. And I have something for you that I have promised for a very long time, and it has taken a while to get through, but I have gotten to it. And today, everyone, we are going to take a look at Madeon's You're On. This is track 2 of the album Adventure from a few years ago, but it has, as you might expect, a lot to teach us. Today's lesson is really going to be about 3 things. One, you've heard me say a billion times, I'm going to say it again, it's complexity equals simplicity. This song is basically one structure that works throughout the song. There are some subtle and minor changes, one drastic change. Otherwise, it's pretty much one song. Complexity equals simplicity. Number 2, you've heard me talk a few times now about something called the dominant chord. We're going to look at it and how it's used in this song in 2 ways, which I may have shown you before, but I'm going to show you again. And then number 3 is arranging. This song structure is in equal lengths all the way through. There is a 4th thing, and if we're good, we'll get to it. And it asks the question, when is C minor G minor? My name is Matt Donner, and this is The Breakdown. I'm actually going to start at the end first, because we're good, and we got there. Amazing. Number 4. We're going to go in reverse order, like a countdown. Number 4, when is C minor G minor? And the answer is when you're Madeon. So let's just take a hot look at what the chords are in the structure that is this song, and then let's try to figure out what the hell they are. And then let's try to figure out what key we're in, because you can kind of do it 2 different ways, and it's because of the dominant. So, the chord structure. Let me play you a little bit of my little rendition. And by the way, quick props to Imaginate for all the sound design. Thanks, Dan. It was really, really helpful. And that's the structure. Now what's really happening here is if I just play the piano, C minor 7, C, E flat, G, B flat. Now this B flat will rear its head a couple of times today. This is a 7th chord, so here's basically C minor, and then we add the 7th. The next chord, E flat, and look at that, 3 of the notes were already in the chord before it. This happens all the way through. And then B flat dominant. So let's pause for a moment. C minor 7, E flat major 7, G minor 7, B flat dominant. Spelled 5 flat 7 1 major 3. Time out. I'm confused. I'm confused. If we think that the first chord is 1, then we're in the key of C minor, which means this chord, E flat major 7, is our 3, or flat 3, and then we go to G minor 7, which would be our 5, and then B flat dominant would be our flat 7 dominant, which, frankly, fits beautifully in the world of C Aeolian, where you have a 1 chord and then a flat 3, the 5 chord, and then the 7 chord whose natural condition would be dominant. In the key of C major, the 5 chord is dominant. C minor is relative to E flat major. E flat major's 5 chord is B flat dominant. If you can follow that, you're in business. If you can't, reach out to me. I'll explain it to you. So we can say we're in the key of C minor, except for the fact that the melody doesn't play along. The melody, while we have C minor 7 here, the melody is doing this. This C note doesn't really feel like home at all. This G note feels like home. He never sits on the C long enough in the melody to make you feel like that's home. So in the right hand, in the melody, he's saying G minor, and in the left hand on the chords, he's saying C minor. So who's right? This is where the debate happens, and this is where the comments happen. Let me just play it one more time. Look at the melody and notice how it kind of keeps coming back to G, okay? So every time it lands on G, it's kind of telling you that's where home is. But the chords are kind of telling you where C is. Kind of. At least that's to say, it fits beautifully into C Aeolian, but that don't necessarily make it what it is. My ear hears G as the melody, and my ear hears G as the root of the song, which means if we have the same chords, and then E flat, and then G minor 7, there's home. How do you define a flat 3 dominant? How does a flat 3 dominant make sense there? And the answer is, it doesn't have to. Because dominant chords can be anywhere at any one time. This is going to rear its head a couple of times here, or at least once in the song. Hopefully I can identify where it is. At least once. Dominant chords, as the 5, generally want to fall to a 1, a fifth below. So B flat dominant wants to fall to E flat major 7, which it kind of will a little later. Otherwise, the dominant never resolves. It just loops and loops and loops and loops, and it's pretty awesome. The complexity is that you're kind of saying C minor with these upwardly moving chords, and then hitting a dominant that kind of belongs, kind of doesn't, and then not resolving the dominant and just doing the loop again. Brilliant. Brilliant. So, when is C minor G minor? It's when you're Madeon, and when the melody is saying one thing and the chords kind of can be interpreted 2 different ways. I leave it to you, and the debate may ensue. Hey, that rhymed. That was awesome. Okay, so I also want to talk about the dominant in another way. We're going to take a look at the bridge real quick, because the bridge uses a dominant chord that's kind of more than a dominant chord, and it's pretty spectacular. This is where Madeon really says, oh, by the way, I've been in G minor the whole time. Just shh, between us. G minor. This is where we're going. In order to get here through dominant chords, a fifth, we need to see D, Dom 7, sorry, which we will. What happens here in this bridge, I'm just going to come over here and play it for you. Now 3, here it changes. That guy. Okay, so to get it on the piano, we have E flat, major 7, I believe. Let me go up an octave. And then D Dom 7, which is this guy. But that's not good enough. He doesn't do that, he does this. The question is, what is my F? What is F doing in this D dominant chord? We have a D, an F sharp, an A, and then a C, and then an F and F sharp together in one chord. Some people call this the sharp 9 chord. Guitarists tend to call it the sharp 9 or the Jimi Hendrix chord. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before in videos. And it's just a different way to do dominant. Well, one of the beautiful parts about this particular maneuver is that in E flat, the major 7, the bass hits this F sharp, so for the D Dom, but then up hop, the F just gives us a little extra complication, and it's just really, really tasty. So this particular section, the back half at least. And then it ends in B flat dominant again, which starts and brings us right back to the same loop. Over and again. This is why you can listen to the song on repeat, because it's a loop within itself, going this way, and then all of a sudden it's going, yeah, I'm going to go this way for about a bar or two, and yeah, I'm back going this way for the rest of it. And you're kind of like, where did that turn come from? How did that even happen? Oh, Madeon, you're so damn good. Just so damn good. Let me review. I'm going to go with the theory that this whole song has been in G minor the whole damn time. You can say what you want. Again, comments. So, in this case, C minor 7 is our 4 chord. E flat major 7 is our flat 6 Aeolian. And then G minor 7 is our 1. B flat dominant is a dominant 3, which again shouldn't kind of really make sense, especially since it goes right back to the 4 chord. But again, dominants can kind of do different things. And then later on, the bass changes its timbre, brings itself around to be E flat minor 7 here, to this D dom 7, which is, I'm going to try to do that way, and then G minor 7. Probably G minor 7 add 9 for some extra complexity. So reviewing, the song was never in C minor in the first place, I believe. The song has been in G minor the whole time. It just doesn't sound like it or feel like it, except the melody is screaming at us. And then in the bridge, when we finally resolve to that one beautiful G minor 7 chord after that crazy tense D dom 7 chord, sharp 9, that's when he really finally lets you know, I've been in G minor the whole time. As you can see from the arrangement here, every section is the same length, okay? This length of time works in every section of the song. Now, I want to talk about that for a moment because it's not that unusual for a song to be of a particular length, or at least the bars or the clusters, the verses, the A sections, whatever you want to call them. It's not that unusual for them to be in the same length. What's unusual about this song is twofold, really. One, the whole song is almost the exact same stamp all the way through and it never gets boring. Two, actually threefold. Two, the differences between the sections are minute. And three, in the span of the album, you just came out of a really long, trippy intro. You got this song, and then you're about to go to a whole other song with no pauses and no breaks. Man, do I really need to do the whole song form? Not really. So I'm defining these sections as chorus, no vox, which is here, which is where the vocal chops are going to be. And then you've got a verse where there's the actual singing, or the main line. And then you've got the chorus with vox, which is the bum, 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 bum. So the dive bombs in the vocals, which feels kind of chorusy, but kind of isn't. Although he does say the word, you know, you're on in there. Right back to the chorus no vox. And then the bridge, which is kind of a verse, except everything's changed underneath it. And then a bridge chorus, which is really a chorus. And then chorus no vox. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then bye-bye into the next song. I don't know what to tell you. This is a fantastic, fantastic song for a few reasons. I'm just going to let it go while we have some credits. And I want you to try to play along with it if you can. Play C minor, E flat major, G minor, and then if you only had 3 notes to play, do B dominant that way. Try and play along if you can. It's a really good exercise. And then to make it fancy, add the 7th all the way through, and you'll see how 3 of the 4 notes are always the same chord to chord until the end when you get there. Have some fun. Try and follow along. Do the counting. You'll see it on the screen. Stay with me as long as you can. I have been Matt Donner. This is Madeon's You're On from the album Adventure, and we have a brand new website for all of you to check out. Probably you've already seen it, but if you haven't, come on in. The water is fine. And in the meantime, you're on.
If you're an aspiring music producer and ready to evolve your sound, find out more about our San Francisco ground campus, online classes, and one-on-one mentorships at Pyramind.com.